The assembly order module in Trayse Inventory takes an item's bill of materials and makes a new item. The bill of materials item quantities are decremented and the new item quantity is incremented. The module is explained in detail in a separate video. In this video, we'll take an assembly from Trayse Inventory and push it to QuickBooks. I'll click the refresh button under Assembly and see that I have one to push. QuickBooks Integrator counts all the assemblies that have been received in Trayse Inventory but haven't been pushed into QuickBooks. Since it's counting received assemblies, the receipts count has also been updated. Some versions of QuickBooks have a bill of materials component, but we don't need it. All of that information is tracked in Trayse Inventory. When an assembly is pushed from Trayse Inventory into QuickBooks, it is recorded as a purchase order for the internal company. The bill of material items have been decremented using the Adjust Quantity Value on Hand feature in QuickBooks. To see how this is recorded in QuickBooks, right-click on an item in the item list and select Adjust Quantity Value on Hand. You may already know this, but it's worth noting a couple of things. First, when you open this layout, QuickBooks presents a blank layout. The presumption is that you want to create a new adjustment. To see the adjustment that we just created, click the previous navigation button at the top. Second, once created, there's no way to delete this data. If a mistake is made, a new adjustment is required to correct the quantity. We need to receive our newly created assembly, and to do that, I'll go back to QuickBooks Integrator app and click the Push Receipts button. Now our inventory quantities in QuickBooks and Trayse Inventory are up to date. Trayse Inventory can disassemble finished good and works in progress. This is helpful if you need to source parts from an assembled item. A separate video in this series covers that process in detail. I've disassembled one of our kits and need to push that to QuickBooks. I'll click the refresh button for disassembly and see that there's one record to push. I'll click the push disassembly button and a new adjustment quantity value on hand record has been created to decrement the kit and increment the bill of materials. Once again, our quantities in both apps is up to date. The last type of data push we can make between the files is a manual adjustment. Remember that Trayse Inventory serves as the data truth of our system, so adjustments need to be made there and pushed to QuickBooks. In Trayse Inventory, I'll go to the item I want to adjust. From here, I'll click More Quantities. I see all the quantities of this SKU at every location in my warehouse. Click the pencil icon to edit. I need to select a reason for this adjustment. When I'm finished, I'll click the Continue button. In QuickBooks Integrator, I'll click the Refresh Manual Adjustment button and see that I have one. I'll push that to QuickBooks and a new Adjust Quantity Value on Hand record has been created. Throughout these videos, I've been clicking the refresh button on each transaction type. A faster way is to click the Refresh All button at the top. There's also a place to write down the rules for moving data. This can be modified to suit your company's operations. And finally, a Settings button to store static data.